every once in a while I click on it, like, that story. And then finally I was like, I'll tell you what happened was my daughter was born. And I decided that, how am I going to tell her to reach for her goals? Like, how am I going to convince her to go for things and I'm not doing it? So I made a decision that when she was born that I was going to reopen this manuscript and try to do something with it. I wasn't going to give up on it. And,
well, I think that, one of the things that I think when I'm trying to process what I went through too as well is that at some point you do make a decision. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, which is different than this is what I might do.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I feel that what I've got in the works, it might be different than this, it's because now it's like, she wanted to come to this book reading and I was like, nope. So now I do feel that eventually, I want to write something that by the time she's 18, I was like, yeah, read it.
What's in the works?
What's that?
What's in the works?
And I'm sending it off in February.
Oh, you got? Really?
Does that one have vampires?
What's that?
Is there vampires in the next one?
No, but it's got crystal meth and dogfighting.
It's got a lot less. It took a lot less than 15 years this time, huh?
Yeah, it's going quicker.
I'm just curious about the actual, going maybe a little bit off of what Rachel was saying. What is your actual writing process? Is teaching writing. And I know that you teach writing too. That what do you do? Like, do you go to a cabin in Vermont, and write for a month? Wake up in the morning, put on the coffee, put on Coltrane, and start writing. What do you do?
Yeah,
because you have a job, you have a business.
Let me think about it a minute.
You have a business, a kid, So how do you do it? What's your secret to success?
Apparently, a lot of beer.
Gin. No.
Oh.
Beer I just do because it went
Trump
with the
rallies.
theme. Trump rallies.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun. What I do is I try to write every day. And, sometimes it's when I should be working. Sometimes when I should be, playing board games with my kids. Sometimes it's when I should be sleeping. Sometimes it's very sporadic. I don't have a schedule. I just make sure I write I tell myself if I haven't written anything today, then I'm not going to bed until I do. And sometimes it's 3 in the morning, sometimes it's 5 in the morning, sometimes it's noon. I have no process at all. I just tell myself I have to write something every day, or it's not really what I'm trying to do. If I'm not going to write, then I need to do something else. So if that's what I really want to do, then I do my best to make time for it.
Well, I meant to mention this when I was doing the introduction, but I thought it was pretty cool that you actually not just have a day job, but you have a company. You have a pretty successful company. I assume it's successful. It looks pretty successful on the outside.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah,
I haven't had to have a real job.
Yeah,
5 years. So if I get to ride segways and go on pub tours,
You don't teach anymore?
that'd be something.
You don't teach anymore?
I still teach. Yeah.
Okay, what's that?
I teach at the University in Pensacola. Yeah, I'm an adjunct.
But it's your passion, though. It's clear that it's your passion. That otherwise you would not only just completed it, but you can see that the right.
In all honesty, and this is what's messed up is I have a business and I ride segways and I would like to be a professor and just write and teach for to me that is fun. I actually enjoy doing that. Yeah. So. Yeah, I have no idea where I was going with it.
I don't know.
Going off what you were saying in the back, so you made plenty of jokes about how this story is not quote unquote highbrow, right? Like that you're going with kind of a fun story, with two.
Calling bullshit on me?
No, but I'm saying that there are deeper ideas at work there that you're both building up and arriving to.
There are.
So what was there are.
Yeah.
Don't just.
I'm attempting it.
Yeah. So what would you say is your overall goal of the book? Like it can't. Is it just like telling a cool ass story about a couple of guys hanging out and having fun? Or would you say that you were trying to achieve something more meaningful?
Absolutely, I was trying to achieve something more meaningful, but I wanted it to be a great story as well. You know what I mean? Like I wanted people to enjoy it. I wanted people to just have fun reading it, and I really felt that was the. And then the other layers were if you get something more meaningful from it, you know, that's great too. But you know, there's people that just don't read, you know. And I was like, if you know this 18 to 34-year-old male surfer crowd can pick up a book and read it and be like, hey, that was a great story. And you know, one of the best responses I had from somebody reading this was somebody said it. It's like, man, I haven't read I don't remember the last time I read a book. And I read it and I loved it. They said it got me inspired to start reading again. So first thing I wanted to do was tell them a fun story. That I thought that had to be the there's fucking. I've tried to read Infinite Jest a million times. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I want to throw it every time I read it.
It sits on my nightstand, and I'm like, I'll work on this.
Right.
And I love the book, but yeah,
he's a brilliant writer, but
You're not cool enough.
yeah, apparently I don't get it.
You're not
right?
cool, man.
Tell the story. Like I can watch Days of Confused.
It's a lot.
I can watch Days of Confused 150 times and still I can love the movie. Infinite Jest, I get 140 pages into it, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? So,
I only got 1,000 more to go.
But like,
yeah, I wanted to tell a fun story.
But like,
that was really what I wanted to do.
I have a question now based on that whole thing, because we've talked about Infinite Jest and David Foster Wallace, and who I love, but like, I was going to ask you about Hemingway, because I haven't read your book yet, and I want to read it.
Yeah, you're making my brain hurt.
And my favorite Hemingway is Sun Also Rises, so... when you talk about influences, I before I knew that you were that influenced by Hemingway, that I'm like, this has that Hemingway simplicity that Hemingway.
Well, so it's funny you bring that up because we just met like a week ago at like the Azalea, and they were like, let's go karaoke at Sir Richard's. And then he was like telling me he was like a musician. I was like, well, you should come to my book reading, and he's here, so awesome. So it's really interesting that you bring that up because Sun Also Rises is the book that made me decide that I was like, wait, people can write differently. Like I didn't realize that was a way to write. I didn't know you were allowed to write about those things. I didn't, I thought writing had to be this shit that was so unattainable for me. And then when I read Hemingway and I read Sun Also Rises, it's like, wait, you can write about people that are drinking and that don't fit into society and so from that moment on, I became a reader. And then I started reading the people that Hemingway was influenced by, and it just branched out to where I have this infinite list of reading material now. But it really did start from Sun Also Rises. That's pretty interesting that you brought that up. But yeah, that bull scene.
I can see the influence. I mean, bull literally, but like the conciseness, like that's important. I think
that's what Scott was getting at.
Actually, it was the dialogue. That's what cued me in. Not just all the figures of the butt stuff, but which I don't remember.
Garden Eden, but he couldn't say it.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, he couldn't say it.
But it was the dialogue actually that kind of brought it. And it's kind of simplicity with the dialogue. But
and I wasn't gonna say anything, but like. You were talking about people not wanting to read, and I think like Hemingway created. I think it's important to be concise and simplicity. Like poetry and all that's important. But I'm interested in your book because I like reading a book very quickly. Like
I do too. Still, even
I don't have to go back and be like, did I understand what's happening? I think it's important that literature is.
Now you're going a little far calling it literature.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean in general, it's like it's important to understand.
No, I agree. Yeah, a quick read is important, and a fun read is really important. Yeah.
Oh, when I mentioned too the simplicity of the dialogue, I didn't mean it's like the simple, but it's actually the way people talk.
Yes.
And that in reading that and hearing the other characters go, that you quickly fall into the conversation. like you're at there, as you're reading it. And that's when I read Hemingway, that's what I get too, where I can see these two people talking. And I don't always anything more than the he said, she said, at the end.
And a lot of times they're disconnected conversations that I like about it. The most obvious one is Hills Like White Elephants, where they're it's almost like they're avoiding something.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot of times the dialogue that I was attempting here was they were oftentimes avoiding talking about like the real issues until they got like super drunk or on mushrooms or something where like we have to talk about this.
Yeah, Nick, I was really kind of intrigued by you said that you mentioned Richard Linklater and those movies, and you hoped to, I think you said that you hoped to do that in writing, or you were attempting to do that in writing. I was curious about what that was, and I'm a huge, like you, probably a Richard Linklater fan, and for Linklater, when I see any of those films, of course there's a story, but it's composed of multiple stories that are all kind of interwoven. He does that so wonderfully.
Especially in Slacker, right?
Oh man, totally.
That's what I'm really attempting with my next one. So the Linklater influence, though, I think is when you look at like Dazed and Confused. I mean, it's a storyline that it doesn't branch out much further than these characters, right? And he tells it in this pretty straightforward fashion, but it's a timeless story. I mean, it doesn't go away. And then with Linklater as well, its place also. Especially with Slacker, when he's talking about like Austin, Texas. I mean, I've never even been to Austin, but I feel like I know. Like when I go to Austin, Texas, because I've seen Slacker, like I know this city. Like I don't care if you were born here. Like I belong in this city. And I have no idea where I was going with that. Give me a minute.
We said you were trying to do that in writing.
Yeah.
And I was curious of what your that was as opposed to my that. Yeah. What is that you're trying to do?
Right. I didn't think this question. I don't know.
It's okay if you don't have an answer. I think I'm impressed that you said that anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one of the biggest like fuck ups I ever did in grad school was reading Ulysses.
That goes back to Jess. It's like it's the same.
And I took the chapter of Wandering Rocks, and I tried to, for some reason, when I read that chapter of Wandering Rocks of Ulysses, I see Slacker in there, and I did my best to connect those two, and I failed miserably. And but there's something there that I haven't tapped into, but it's this. I guess that I'm talking about, like Fast Time to Ridgemont High is not Linklater. So, but when you look at these types of stories, there's something they're doing that's not being done in book form, as far as at least that I haven't read. I've read when people shout out like these coming of age stories, Portrait of a Young Artist might come about, or that J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye might come out, right? So these are the coming of age stories. But when I think of coming of age stories, the ones that come to my mind are Kids by Larry Clark, right? Wasn't that the director? You guys remember that? And Daisy Confused, and like that's what I relate to. So it might be more the content that I was actually thinking of as far as
modern
literature goes, right? I haven't been attracted. I haven't found a book at least that hits on, like surf story, surfing but like Larry Clark. I guess I didn't mention Larry Clark, but that was probably one of the biggest ones. Like he did with skateboarding, and that was such a fantastic movie. I was like, why isn't anybody doing that in books? Like nobody's done it in surfing. I mean, you got, Bruce Brown. I mentioned that. You got somebody give me the name of that. In the summer. Thank you. You've got that, but the content wasn't there. In the summer, they weren't drinking, they weren't smoking, they weren't having sex. It was very. And I was like, why aren't in book form, in literary form, why isn't that happening? So that's what I tend to do.
Well, all those movies capture a moment.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially what you're doing here too. I mean, even
damn, that would have been such a quicker answer.
Yeah. So Schuck, all right. So I see that there's this sort of this overarching
theme, and you were talking about the Ulysses, and immediately I think like the hero's journey and that sort of thing.